in lieu of all the heat that developers have been facing for a plethora of what we consider maybe not so great decisions over the past week and or months, instead of cracking a joke about interns or something, I'm just going to thank them for adding 3 Warbond CCUs to the docket today instead of just the 1. So thank you, SIG. And with that, let's go through them. So the Starlancer TAC is the first one we're going to talk about. This ship gives you a $35 discount here over the standard edition. Very cool. And there's 2 choices. 2 good choices, and then there's some bad choices, and then there's no-go choices. So for the no-go choices, Caterpillar Pirate and the Best in Show. You're never going to get a Warbond CCU to these ships. If you already have them in your stable, then I mean, these things are like cult ships. I don't know why you would upgrade away from them. So I don't know. I suppose if you really wanted to and you had them, you could do it. But otherwise, don't ever pick these. Anytime it says like edition over here, usually it means it's a specialty series that you're not going to get over here on the right ever. Or even as a CCU, like they don't offer these CCUs even in standard CCUs. It just doesn't show up over here, so you can't do it. The rest of these down below that are fine, besides this other edition, which is also specialty, but they leave more money on the table. So I'm not recommending them either. What I am going to recommend is one of these 2 ships, and both are excellent choices. I'm going to lean towards the Redeemer because it comes up just a little more often than the Caterpillar. But just to go over that, I'm going to jump over the CCU game app and show you the differences in quantities, basically, for these 2 ships. First off, the Redeemer. As you can see, since its release, it's had quite a few Warbond discounts come up in the CCU game, and probably in the standard ship category too. Maybe not. No, just the Warbonds, it looks like. Okay, so there was a $5 discount once. Okay, so mainly CCU game, it's had the discounts, right? Quite a few too. It seems to come up once or twice or even 3 times a year. Going over to the Caterpillar, also, like there's tons of them here, 5 or 6, probably some pre-2021 as well. And it comes up often enough, right? Once a year at least, maybe twice, a good choice. But because the Redeemer just comes up a few more times over its lifespan, and it's a more recent ship, it's newer. Based on that alone is why I'm going to say go with the Redeemer unless you already have the Caterpillar and you don't have the Redeemer. But really, both of them make great choices, especially if you're going to the Starlancer TAC directly or something beyond it. So that's what I'm going to recommend. And I think I went through the rest, right? Yeah, the rest are bad choices for one reason or another. Next up is the Guardian QX? MX. Guardian MX, right? So this one is a new ship just getting released. It is a $20 discount from $290 to $270. Adds 10 years insurance too if you're going from something that doesn't have great insurance. So got a couple choices here as well, and let's go through them. First off, the no-go is triage. Technically, sure, you could use it, but A, it's more money. It's $20 for $20 discount, and it's a concept ship, so this is going to be worth probably similarly. I mean, this could be like a $280 ship. Could be like a $300 ship, the way they're increasing prices nowadays. But let's say that this is exactly a $280 ship. Effectively, you would have paid $20 for a $10 upgrade, which makes 0 sense unless you're just really bad with money. So the two best choices here are going to be the MSR and the Warden. The Warden wins out if you just picked one up at the beginning of Invictus, of course. I think the Wardens had 2. The Mercury has had quite a few, 5 or 6 or something. QI's had 1 maybe, but this is a brand new ship. So brand new ships are always tough to tell, right? Something like the Vulture, they made it very clear, especially when pushing out new game mechanics for salvage, that they really wanted people testing that thing. So they kept offering discounts for that ship, which is a good thing. I'm not complaining about why they offered it. I'm just saying, hey, it showed up a lot, and I'm glad it showed up a lot. So it makes a great choice for any chain, right? Because it was around often enough that you could just pick one up. But but it took a while for us to understand that it was going to keep coming out. The Guardian QI does not have a history yet, right? It's a brand new ship effectively. So, but because they're all the same price, technically first key is met, right? It's the biggest discount. So all three of these meet those. After that, you're going to default to what you have already. If you're new to the game, it may be more likely that you have the Guardian or the Warden because they've been more recent, right? And then if you've been around a while, the MSR because you've had plenty of opportunities to pick one up. So with those caveats in mind, think about what makes sense to you. If you already have the Guardian QI or you just picked up the Warden, then it's a no-brainer. You pick the Warden and pay $10 and that's how you get your CCU. If you've been around a while, you probably got a couple MSR CCUs hanging out waiting for change too, so that one may make sense to you. And again, if you've just started maybe last year or something, maybe you picked up the Guardian QI, and that one's going to make a really good change here. If today is day one for you of figuring out the CCU game, I'm going to recommend the MSR. It has come up way more often than the other ship that's been around longer, technically, the Warden, and the QI doesn't have an established history yet of coming around in the CCU game. So, and especially with the Guardian MX just being released, I'm thinking that I'm leaning more towards this one or maybe even another Guardian coming out that has a higher likelihood of having a Warbond CCU if they go with the Guardian name. So if you don't have the Guardian, I'm going to recommend the Mercury unless you just picked up the Warden. Cool? All right. I hope that made sense. And I suppose you could go down further too if you have like a Corsair. It's just one less step. And you're paying $20 out of pocket for a $20 discount instead of buying this $10 upgrade out of pocket, and then maybe, if you have it, using $10 of in-store credit to upgrade from the Corsair to the MSR or to the Warden, right? So that's the way to think about this. Sure, you could make a $20 jump and it's the same dollar amount, but this is $20 new coming off of your credit card into their coffers versus a 10-10 split between new money and old money that you've already put into the game. So that's the difference between these three. I hope that helped you make an informed decision about it. So last but not least is the Freelancer MIS at the terrible price point. Not actually terrible price point, not for the sake of being at that price, but because there's so many other $175 ships. Like if you look through this list right now, you can see 5 different $175 ships, and then there's a couple 185s as well, right? But then if you look over here on the left that shows all ships, they're between $190 and $175. I don't know. There might be like 20 ships over here. Let's go take a look real quick. Let's zoom on down to the $190 price point. Okay, so starting it off, you have a concept vehicle, so I'm going to exclude that one. Okay, there are no $190 ships because this is concept. It's going to increase in price. Although you could get it for $190 right now. Well, probably less if you're using a CCU game. But getting back on point, the Saber Comet, 185. Firebird Saber. Peregrine Saber, also 185. Mark II, so you could use this one. Mark II Ghost, 185. Don't use this one. Again, going back to what I said earlier, Super Hornet. Hornet Mark I, Ixnay. Don't use it unless you really know what you're doing.
Don't try it.
If you're just starting out, consider these not possible, okay? In fact, I think they should remove them from here or add them back here on the right so you can actually utilize it. That's what I think. The Freelancer MIS at 175. That's the ship we're going to talk about here for a second. Cartual, Cutlass Blue, Saber, Retaliator, Hornet, Mark I, Vulture. I'll get back to the Vulture in a second. Mark II, the Zeus, ES version, specifically the Zeus, CL version, Hornet Mark II, the standard one, very good. The Fortune, and I guess 165-ish, you've got a couple other choices as well. So there's a lot of ships at the $175 mark, and the reason that I'm saying the Freelancer is a bad price point is not because of its value in comparison to those. It's a very niche ship. It's like a missile boat. A lot of people love this ship, especially with things that are going to come online that are going to give it armor. It's basically going to be, it's anticipated to be anyway, one of the best armored missile boats that will exist in this, not only price point, but in this kind of weight class, in this medium ship category, right? It's got tons of missiles on it. But the reason it doesn't make a great CCU link in your chain unless you're going to end on the MIS is because all of these other ships, there's tons of other ships that hit the CCU game more often. I'm really looking at the Vulture here, and I'm really looking at the, where is the Zeus CL? Oh, it's on this side. So here's a Zeus CL. And just to demonstrate the differences and why you should maybe not get the Freelancer miss unless, again, you've already built a chain from the Freelancer miss for some reason in the past, or maybe you had one of those freebie ones that upgraded to or from, probably from in this case, the MIS to something else. I'm going to walk through why I'm not going to recommend you actually buy this one, even though it's a $10 discount, right? And I'm going to do that by showing you everything in the CCU game app. I was kind of getting this set up, and I realized there really are a plethora of options in the 175 mark.
Would you say I have a plethora?
Yeah, that's actually what I just said. Anyway, moving on. All right, so jumping straight into the MIS in the CCU game app, what you can see is it's had two, and they were relatively recent, right? November. It may have had one a long time ago. I know it had a freebie, but it may be missing one in here. But I remember looking at this maybe last year thinking, hey, it hasn't really had any before. I wouldn't rely on this one coming back around, right? So you can see it here. It's had two war bonds, so you could have made a chain out of it twice, basically, right? Whereas I'm going to look at something like the Hornet Mark II. This is a standard F7C. It's had 0. So it would make a better choice than the F7C, building a chain as a link. Then you get to the Retaliator. Well, the Retaliator has had 2 also, so it's about as good as the Retaliator, right? And then you go to something like the Zeus, which is a nearly brand new ship, right? It's only effectively less than a year old, and it's already had 3. I think it might have more than 3, thinking back, because it may have come up. I think it's had more than 3. This might be missing some data, but at the bare minimum, it's had 3, right? At $15 discounts too, not just the 10 that we're seeing with the MIS. Go back to here, right? MIS. Oop, what happened here? There we go. And we see a $10 discount, 175 to 165, right? So that plays a role too. And of course, Prospector is the best one for this. We'll get to that in a minute though. And then you have the Vulture, right? So the Vulture, look, it's also not brand new. It's 2 years old now, almost 3, but it's had, since its production release, it's had a significant amount of war bonds, and they've added stuff to it as well. They've made it very, very reliable in the CCU game as a link in the chain, and they've added additional cool stuff to it with like paints and stuff and armor and all sorts of crazy stuff, right? Also looking at it, it used to give exceptional discounts for the price point, $25, right? If you had one of these, that's amazing. I think I got 2 of these. But then it's dwindled down to the same $10 discount that we're getting now for the MIS. So you should probably count on $10, unless you already have it, of course, for future state for Vulture. So again, there's different options here when upgrading to the $175 price point. Ship doesn't matter. The discount matters, right? If we're trying to get beyond those shit. Look, if you're trying to get to the Freelancer MIS because you want the future state armored missile boat, then this is a no-brainer. Just grab that and hit the Prospector, pay your $10 and you're good to go, right? If you're trying to get beyond from the Prospector, beyond the $175 mark, going up to like a $260 ship, to a $400 ship, wherever you're trying to get to in the CCU game, I would not recommend the Freelancer MIS because there's other better options at the $175 price point. Those very specific options would be the Vulture and or the Freelancer. I'm sorry. Whoa, I almost messed that one up. The Zeus CL specifically. You could also speculate on the $190 Zeus MR, because that's $190 right now. Like, there's different ways to get there, right? And that's what I would recommend. If you're using this as a stepping stone, I would say maybe skip out on the MIS, unless they offer a $20 discount or something, because at $10, it doesn't really make an exceptional reason to get it if you're using it as a stepping stone to a higher price ship. But again, if this is what you want, hit the Prospector, good to go. That's really the only choice here. Hornet Tracker Mark 1, again, harping on the Hornet Mark 1, don't use. The Razor EX, I don't think the Razor EX has had any. Freelancer Max has had 2, maybe one more, maybe 3. LX has had 1, the Mantis has had a few. So if you really wanted to go down the stack, I would say Mantis would be your second best choice. But again, you're leaving more money on the table. You're paying $15 for a $10 discount, and that's just not great. That's not great. That's a bad ratio, right? So we would want to go with the Prospector. If you needed to make this Freelancer Miss link chain work for you for whatever reason, this is the right way to go. For the rest of the parts of the store, there's only one real new thing that wasn't here last time, and that's the packs section. We've got a Guardian Trio pack, so you got all 3 of the Guardians in Warbond and standard versions. Both give a discount. Obviously, the Warbond is a deeper discount. Same thing for the TAC and Fury, which is kind of neat. The same thing here. They offer the Warbond and the non-Warbond version. Both give a discount. And then you've got the Starlancer Twin Pack. I'm not sure why they didn't do the Starlancer Trio. Aren't there 3 of them? But anyway. So there are packs. These also offer discounts. And for those people that do happen to have a bunch of in-store credit that maybe want the Trio Guardian pack, for instance, or maybe this nice combo, again, non-Warbond is still a discount for buying both these ships at once. So, hey, store credit, it's a way to spend it, I suppose. Everything else is pretty much the same. We still have the controversy in the add-ons section. We still have most of the controversy in the standalone ships section, with the add-ons being added to some of these ships with Warbond status. MTC is still there, and all the concepts are being added from manufacturers that enter the expo hall. That's about it. No ranting today. No ranting at all. I'm gonna go get back to work now. Hope this helped you get a discount today in one of your chains, and let's just hope they keep sending more than one Warbond CCU our way. That would be fantastic, and I would be grateful. So thank you, Sig, for doing so, and thank you guys for tuning in. That's it for me. Zi-Tek, out.